Hi, welcome to Beyond the Cookbook and welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Natasha and today we have for you a Portuguese beef stew. This dish consists of meat and potatoes. There's no vegetables unless you decide that you want to add a carrot, but you don't have to. Traditionally it is just meat and potatoes. I've added the chourico because it adds another level of flavor. And this dish does take some pre-prep work, so you will have to get ready for it the night before or the day before and let the meat marinate overnight. It's also a terrific way of using those cheaper cuts of meat that need to cook a little bit longer because they become so nice and tender once they've cooked for about 2 hours. So if you're ready, why don't you come along with me and we'll make it together. So for today's recipe, you're going to need a little bit of pre-prep work, I suppose you could say. We're going to do beef stew, like I said, and I marinated the meat overnight. And for the marinade, you'll need some pepper paste. You could buy this at any store that has like a Mediterranean or a international section. You'll need minced garlic. You'll need red wine or white wine, whatever you like to use. And I also added some thyme. So the mixture of the pepper paste, the minced garlic, and the wine is called vinha dolce. I'm sure if you've been around Portuguese people and have seen them cook, you'll see or hear them talk about it. So it's basically just 3 ingredients. It's the pepper paste, garlic, and wine of your choice, whether it be red wine or white wine, it's all up to you. So I mixed all of this together in a bowl and I poured it over our meat. And our meat, I have here some inside round that I've cut into chunks. Not very big chunks. This isn't the typical beef stew chunks that you would buy in a grocery store. And I also have some shin bones with meat and neck bones with meat. With this dish is particularly better with bones if you can find it. So I went to the butcher and I just asked them for bones with meat, and that's what they had. So we are going to get started right now. So I have this nice large pot and it's over a medium flame, and I've added about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm going to saute the onions. Spread them out nice and flat, and then we'll just let them saute a little bit, and then we'll add the some more minced garlic. So we'll just let the onions and the garlic cook a little bit longer, and then we're going to add our meat. So I just want you to see this meat and all the spices that are in here. So the only spice that's in here really is the pepper paste, but there's garlic and there's wine, and it's been marinating for about 24 hours. A dish like this really does need time to marinate, so 24 hours is perfect, 12 hours is good. The longer the better, because then it'll absorb all its flavor, and the wine of course is an acid, so it'll start to tenderize, it'll help tenderize the meat. And this meat is going to cook for about 2 hours in its own liquid, and I'm going to add some more wine with some water to it. You can hear that sizzle. Now you'll have to stir this every once in a while just so that everything gets mixed nicely. Okay, we're almost at the end. Whoops. Whoops. Okay, and we're also going to add this marinade, okay? And it'll also cook down nicely. So let's try and stir it up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to add the thyme. You don't have to add thyme, it's just something that I like. And wine. So this is 1 cup of wine and 1 cup of water. And the reason why I'm adding so much liquid is because we'll have to put potatoes in there as well. And the potatoes need some liquid in order to cook down. I just want to make sure that it's all covered with some liquid, and then I'm going to put the pot over it, or the lid over it, and it'll just cook. So we're at the 1 hour mark, so this has been stewing for an hour, so we're just going to check it. And as you can see, it has cooked down somewhat. Still has about an hour or so to go. The longer it cooks, the better it will be. So we're just going to cover it back up and wait another hour. So we're at the 2 hour mark, so we're just going to check it. We're going to add the potatoes. So it's nice and cooked down. Nothing is sticking, nothing is burning. So, and I gotta tell you, it smells so nice in this kitchen. So, we're going to add the potatoes, but we're also going to add some chourico. As most of you probably know by now, chourico is Portuguese sausages. It's made of pork fat and has many spices like garlic, pepper, white pepper, garlic powder as well. And we're going to slice it and then include it in with the potatoes. Now, as far as the potatoes go, I've used, there's about 12 potatoes here. Most of them are about this size, and I had one kind of big, so I'm going to show you how I cut them. So for these smallish potatoes, you just cut them in half, whoops, and then in quarters. Okay, this guy we're going to cut 3 ways. Whoops. And then in quarter. Okay. And I'm going to drain the water, and then I'm going to add the potatoes. It's a little hot, so I'll just hold on to that. Mix them up a little bit. Now, because, I don't know if you can tell, but because there isn't a whole lot of liquid here, I'm going to add water to it because you need to at least cover the potatoes. But before I do that, I'm going to cut up the chourico. Now you can cut them in any size you want, but I think these are nice 2-bite pieces, I guess. I'm going to include that. Now this dish is mainly just meat and potatoes. If you wanted to add a vegetable like a carrot, now would be the time to do it as well. But this is how we've always had it growing up, so this is how I'm going to make it. And I'm going to add about 2 cups of water. This is one of those dishes that is so hearty in the winter or in the colder months, or on a lazy Sunday when you just don't want to be in front of the stove all day. You can set this on and just walk away and just come back every few minutes to check on it, and that's it. So we're going to let the potatoes cook. I will see if it's going to need any more water as it cooks, and if it does, I will add it a little bit at a time, and then it'll be ready soon. So at this point, I'm going to add some salt because of the potatoes. So not too much. You don't need a whole lot of salt. Bring that back up to a simmer. It'll be ready soon. So we're going to check the potatoes. And to do that, you just simply get a fork and you pierce one. And if they go in easily, then it's done. Can't get easier than that. Okay, we're going to give it another 10 minutes or so. So we've waited about 10 minutes. I'm going to turn off the flame. And you can see it bubbling. You can see the sauce bubbling. That's gravy. So let's just spoon some up. Get some chourico. Get a generous piece of meat, some more potatoes, and gravy. Okay, so this is our Portuguese inspired beef stew. As you can see, there's the big chunks of meat, potatoes, chourico. Everything is cooked nicely for the last 2.5 hours, and there's lots and lots of gravy. Now this gravy would be perfect for some homemade crusty bread. I know one of my daughters would just love that. So let's taste it. Oh, it's so good. It's just like my mom used to make. This was one of the dishes where she would just start early Sunday morning before we'd go to church. She'd put it on the stove and she would cook the meat and all its spices, and then we'd go to church. She would turn it off, we'd go to church. We'd come back home, she'd turn it back on, bring it to a simmer, add the potatoes, and then we would have a beautiful lunch. This is fantastic. So this is our beef stew. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I'd like you to make this recipe and let me know what you think. It's very hearty, it's very delicious, and it's something that's pretty traditionally Portuguese. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you like and subscribe and tell all your friends, and come back for more inspiration from Yvette and I. Thank you.